Hey everybody, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin in Tucson, Arizona. Thanks for being here today. OldPuebloCoin.com, TucsonCoinshow.com. Hope to see you. There's the Mesa show. That would be the following week after the Tucson show. That is not normally what I have ready for you here. Oh yeah, TucsonCoinshow.com. That's right. So today we got a group of coins back from CAC Grading. We sent in some coins on their economy service. Had a bunch of raw stuff kicking around that we thought, let's give it a whirl, and you guys can all react to and help me react to this particular set of coins that we sent in. This is a Philadelphia Mint 1940 Walker that I felt had just a real nice eye appeal to it, a little gentle tone. And this guy here, little piece of plastic there. This guy here came back, Unk Details Damaged Reverse. So not a good start on this group, but you know, we'll get into it. Most of this stuff is probably graded in a way that most of you could agree with. I want you all to take a look and tell me what is damaged on the coin, if you would call it damaged. There's a lot of these little marks coming across the center of the coin. Those are all reeds, reed marks from another coin. And then there is, you know, some other contact marks right there on the wing and the head. So you let me know whether or not you would call this coin damaged, or if it just happens to be a coin that you would consider, you know, a coin that has contact marks on it. 1948 Denver Mint, a coin that is the first year of issue for the Benjamin Franklin $50, and a coin that often comes pretty nice. We see these sometimes even in original rolls. Oftentimes they have the nice full bell line designation. There's some more of those reed marks. You see those marks down there on the bell? It's kind of center of your screen. This particular coin had real nice luster to it, very original look to it. MS64 full bands. Not a rare piece, but something that, you know, when we get little raw groups in, if we can get some coins and holders, and it's always, I think, kind of good for the long-term preservation. That coin, I think, is roughly a $60 type coin. Next up, we have a coin that I thought was absolutely stunning, this 1954 San Francisco $50. This guy, also with the full bell lines, got the full bell line designation on there. The San Francisco coins just come super lustrous, and this is no exception. They call this a 65 full bell line, and I'll say that it makes me want to crack the coin out and try to get it in a 66 holder, because a 65 is like $150, but a 66 is like $500. So now it's like, that's a really nice coin. All right, now after this, I mostly have just Morgan dollars after this that we sent in. We had quite a few to send in that were common date coins that we thought were pretty decent. You know, nice BU coins that might come back to 64, 63, 64, 65 kind of grades. First up, this 84.0, which came back at 64. Really nice looking coin. Their 63s, 4s, and 5s trade at roughly like $75, $100, and $200 right now. This one is probably the only one I was really disappointed in as far as grade goes, because I thought this coin was really stunning. As far as an 84.0 goes, super open flashy field, 64. This one I really thought could go 5. Maybe I thought should go 5. All right, I did have a few better date coins too, though. There's an 87.0. A lot of contact mark up here on the cheek. Once again, what is a damaged coin, what is not? Touch of some what looks like maybe PVC on there. Always checking the 87s for the 7/6 variety. Never finding it. So this particular guy in MS61 is maybe about a $100 coin. 87.0s jump up quite a bit in higher grades. This had, the reason I got this certified, once again, obviously there's a lot of contact marks on the cheek, but you had the fields I thought were really nice and open. Here's another 87. This is the Philly Mint. It's another coin that looks like it actually has some type of a planchet flaw right there in front of her nose. That is not a contact mark. Some type of a planchet flaw. Seems like I've seen a lot of that type of thing lately. Somehow, some way. MS64, nice coin. Good grade, by the way, if you haven't seen yet their gray labels versus their green labels. I think it's a nice change. All right. Next up in 1889. Philadelphia. I should probably check and see. This coin probably jumps pretty good from one grade to the next. Some of these Philadelphia mints, I kind of lose track of exactly, when and where they jump in price, because, you think of the Philadelphia mints oftentimes as being real common coins. So this 89 and 63 might be a little bit better coin, jumping up into 64s. I'll have to take a quick look at that and see if I can find out for you. 89 Philly. Yeah, I'm actually doing this as this is not multitasking, because your brain actually can only do one thing at a time. Technically, it just goes back and forth. While I figure that out, let's look at one more coin here. Actually, okay, I'm actually grabbing this is actually the PCGS price guide, which is overvalued, but they're 63s. They showed 100, and then 64s at 125, and 65s at 300. So it jumps a little bit, but it doesn't jump as much as I thought that it does. All right, next up, we've got this 87 S over S. This is kind of a fun coin. AU55 repunched mint mark. You do have to pay for getting VAM designations on coins here. So if you see a coin and you think it has a VAM designation, or should have a VAM designation, and it does not, it's because they only apply the VAM designation if you ask for it. And what a neat looking VAM. It looks like a dollar sign. Or the Potosi mint mark. That one's kind of fun. I don't know why I haven't really seen that coin much. I guess they're pretty hard to find. And I think that one is less than $200. Don't have the exact price point there. Once again, here's a little bit better date. 97S. A little bit tougher, uncirculated, like an MS60 coin's like $100, MS63 is like $200. So it jumps quite a bit compared to the common date coins, the most common date coins. So this one they called cleaned. And I think it's one of those ones where it's so slight. There's no hairlines on it, but it kind of goes a little bit darker at some of the sharper angles. Like you lose some of the luster. So yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence. There's a couple coins here that I'm going to maybe consider sending off, cracking out and sending off somewhere else, just for the fun of it. This is one of them, by the way. Fun fact, warning. This 84O, which I was really excited about. Like, they're going to like that coin, right? What's not to like about that coin? I like the original, a little bit of some yellow around it. I mean, it's got some haze. Maybe they'll take that haze and call it PVC and they won't grade it or something. It's got a cool look to it. Questionable surfaces. Yeah, all right. So this guy is going to go, I think we're going to, I might crack and also conserve this guy and send it to PCGS. It would only come back probably a 62, because the field's, so it's got a nice looking cheek. The field has a couple of bigger marks that are underneath the haze, so they're harder to see. Like that mark right there. I wonder if that's a VAM. There's stuff going on there. And then there's some bigger marks up here in the field. Anyway, we'll see. But I was really hoping to just get like a 62, 63 PL out of that coin. So much for that. Speaking of Philadelphia mints, which I was a couple minutes ago, that's a terrible segue. The 99 Philly is one of those tougher mint marks. And as you see, this has a really nice original surface quality to it, but also has kind of the snail trail coming down the mountain there, coming down the cheek. But super original looking coin. I was excited about that just for the originality's sake of it. 62, probably a $300 coin, whereas a common coin might be, $60 or $70. And here's another one, a little bit nicer. Also has a lot of action, a lot of hits at different angles, but from, the different angle, always the different angles when you're looking at a coin. Also, can I complain? Just between you and I, like, I show a lot of coins to young people and they do this. And I don't understand what their eyeball is trying to pick up, because, I know my eyes aren't that young, but bruh, you can't really see stuff that fast. MS63, closer to a $400 type coin on a 63 over a 62, a little bit tougher. A 99, oh, what a difference a mint mark makes. The 99.0 is a common date. And, overall, when you're grading a coin, it's always about the combination of all the different surface qualities and contact marks. This coin's interesting because, of course, you can notice it's got the bigger marks right on the face, but then the fields are super clean compared to some of the coins that we've looked at. And the rest of that cheek is actually really clean up in here. So MS64, the Mustache Man version. But you can see how a coin like that, someone could call it a 63 or call it damaged. Here's an 83.0. 83.0s, 4.0s, and 5.0s are all tougher coins. Pardon me. I'm sorry. Let me rewind the tape. Ignore that last comment. 83s, 4s, and 5. New Orleans mint coins. Amongst the most common coins produced, the silver was used from a little town called Tombstone. You may have heard of it. And pretty cool stuff. MS64, really nice looking coin. I like that coin. I like the grade. Very attractive. I think a little bit nicer than a couple of the other 64s we've looked at. Still, there was the one that we looked at earlier that I would have called a 65, but I like that coin as a 64. All right, next up we've got, oh, this is interesting. Maybe you guys have already noticed the different denticles on this and what that looks like. This is an 83cc. And kind of an interesting coin. This one came back MS60, which I see more MS60 coins than I used to, and mostly CACG. But this is a pretty typical of a coin that would have come out of a GSA. Really original flesh all around on that, good skin. But then you can see just like a lot of activity on that cheek. And so they called it a 60. Yeah, that's right. Next up, this one was interesting because I got this 82.0 that they did not put in a holder. And then they did not write why it's not in a holder, and it's not on any of the paperwork. But if you go into the system, if you're sending coins into CAC for grading, and you go into the system and you find the submission, it does tell you on there that it was a no grade because of PVC. So no grade because of PVC. There is some on the surface of the coin. Once again, for me, it's sometimes harder to tell when they're gonna, PVC a coin and when they're not, because there's a couple of coins we looked on early. There's your culprit right there. You got a pretty big swath. You got some PVC right there on your coin. Yep. And last but not least, I don't know if there's any other coins in here that I'm gonna mess with besides that proof-like one. But this ADS is a pretty nice example. I think I was kind of hoping to get at least 1 5 out of these guys, but no dice. One more 64 for the road. The king of 64s, here we go. ADS is notoriously nice. They're like the Ned Flanders of coins. Here's another one though also where you talk about whether or not something is PVC or not. It can be pretty deceptive. There's a lot of stuff going on right there on the surface that could be some PVC. So, all right guys, thanks so much for being here. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.